Welcome back. You're watching Battle of Champions. We're building up to that India versus New Zealand game. And now let's take a closer look at the Kiwi team, the kind of challenges that they will pose for the Indian team, from Trent Boult, the left-arm fast bowler that could trouble the Indian openers, from Tim Southee's swing, as well as the spinners might come into play. And then they have the experienced Williamson. As far as their batting is concerned, here are the threats that the Kiwi team poses.
Easily the second favourite team for everyone, New Zealand are known to punch above their weight in the ICC tournaments. India have been at the receiving end against them on more than just one occasion. Once again, India will have to be wary of the Black Caps, considering the balance they have in their ranks. First, their bowling.
Slow.
Trent Boult with his left-arm pace has often troubled the Indian top order, something many other left-arm pacers have done in the past. While Boult gets majority of the attention, Tim Southee has been another thorn in the flesh for the Indians, especially Virat Kohli. Across formats, Southee is one of the three bowlers who has dismissed Virat Kohli most number of times. Southee, Jimmy Anderson and Moeen Ali have all got the Indian captain out 10 times each.
72 from 55.
Mitchell Santner may not find many takers in T20 format, but his experience will be crucial, especially against the Indian top order, and leg spinner Ish Sodhi would also be relishing the opportunity to bowl against Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. New Zealand have the variety in their bowling, with all-rounders to chip in with a few overs if required. Martin Guptill may be doubtful with a sore toe, but if he does play, he is a huge threat to any bowling attack because of his ability to clear the fence with ease. In Kane Williamson, Kiwis have the man to anchor the innings, with players like Jimmy Neesham, Glenn Phillips and Tim Seifert to do the hitting from the other end. Also, New Zealand enjoy a better win-loss record against India in T20 internationals, having won 8 out of 16 contests between the two sides. In the ICC tournaments, India do not enjoy a great record against the Kiwis since the 1999 World Cup, having lost 6 of the last 7 contests.
Benefit.
India would like to believe that they can win this time, but the Kiwis would be equally confident of registering their first points in this ICC T20 World Cup. Sports Bureau, India Today.
All right, Ross Taylor, Sunil Gavaskar and Pragyan Ojha still with us. Ross, I'll begin with you on this one, that mouth-watering contest of Trent Boult bowling to the Indian openers. But one thing that we saw which Shaheen Afridi could do is extract a bit of swing. We've seen a few games where you've got swing, but that's going to be essential in Boult's armoury if he wants to dislodge the two Indian openers.
Yeah, very much so. And New Zealand team will look to Trent to set the tone and put pressure like Shaheen Afridi did against India a few days ago. The swing is, important, but, just having the change-ups, being able to go across the right hand is, at will be crucial for us. But in saying that, Boult has struggled up front in the IPL and didn't get a lot of wickets, but New Zealand team will definitely want his experience to come to the fore and get one or two and try and get Kohli out there really.
One has been Boult's form, Sunny that Ross refers to, and the other one, Boult has come out and said this in the pre-match press conference that he's going to try and replicate what Shaheen Afridi did versus India. But the one factor to consider was that those two deliveries, many have called them unplayable, and it's not easy for anyone to produce such unplayable deliveries all the time.
Yes, but that is where great bowlers come through, and Trent Boult's record shows that he's a great bowler in all formats of the game. The thing is that the white ball doesn't swing as much, so India have to watch out really for those first couple of overs. And we've seen in particularly Rohit Sharma's case, after a few deliveries, his feet tend to start moving a lot better, and so like Shaheen Afridi did, he bowled in that full leg delivery first up and got him out LBW. That's something that I think Trent Boult will try to replicate or maybe surprise him with a short ball. But Kane Williamson is actually spoiled for choice as far as handling the new ball is concerned, because Tim Southee is another fine exponent of swing and seam. And so will he give Trent Bolt the white ball ahead of Tim Saudi? He didn't do that against Pakistan.
Yeah.
It was Santner and Saudi opened the bowling, and Bolt came in after 2 overs had been bowled. So sometimes, even 2 overs can take away the hardness of the seam of the white ball, and the ball doesn't swing as much. So I think that's going to be a tough call for Kane Williamson.
Very important point Sunny Bhai makes, and I'd love to know, Ross, your thoughts on that. One thing, and probably India faltered there when they were playing that game against Pakistan, didn't give Jasprit Bumrah that opening over. We saw New Zealand do the same. They didn't go with Trent Bolt. They gave Santner that opening over in that encounter. You reckon this is one thing that the Kiwi team wouldn't want to do now? Not start with Santner, at least not the first over, probably a little later?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting what the wicket in Dubai is going to play like. But obviously against Pakistan, 2 right-handed openers and against Zimbabwe, 2 right-hand openers. So, it's whether Kane thinks that's the matchup that wants. But, when a fast bowler of Trent Bolt's stature, he will want that first over. So if New Zealand do bowl first, I wouldn't be surprised if Trent Bolt does take the ball, and trying to swing that back and try and replicate what, Shaheen Afridi did.
Pragyan, Sunny Bhai spoke about the deficiency that the Indian batsmen have. He spoke specifically about Rohit Sharma, that front foot going across. You reckon they had enough time, and you've spoken about that gap, to work on this? We've been seeing visuals that have been coming from Dubai. One, we saw, the ball being thrown by a left-arm thrower that you have as far as the net practice was concerned. The other, Lukman Meriwal, is part of the squad as a net bowler who's a left-arm pacer. So they had enough time to at least work on few little things?
They had more. I think Rohit had more than enough time because Trent Bolt and Rohit play for Mumbai Indians, and I'm very sure they would have had a lot of practice together. That's how it goes. Only difference what I saw was when you talk about India-Pakistan game, it was a while when India faced Pakistan. I think that was something which was playing in their mind maybe. But when you talk about New Zealand and other teams, the main teams, they all been part of IPL and they have been playing against each other. So that factor is not there. So mentally they don't have that maybe little bit of anxiety or something facing someone like Shaheen Afridi or Hassan Ali or other bowlers, because it's been a while. We have not played them. But now when you're talking about Rohit, I'm very sure with so much experience behind him, he would have really figured out how to play Trent Bolt and how to go about Tim Saudi and other bowlers, because these are the regular members of some of the IPL teams.
Okay, as we discuss the India versus New Zealand game and all the things that will play out on the cricket field, we've got plenty on that front as well. But I'm just going to divert a little bit as far as our discussion is concerned and move on to something that we saw right after the Pakistan game, and that was a shameful attack that Mohammad Shami had to face on social media. Why I call it shameful? Because it wasn't just criticism of what he did on the cricket field, it had religious connotations as well. This was the first time that Virat Kohli faced the media after that attack, and this is what he had to say, and he made it very, very categorical, very, very straight in his opinion that there is no way that he's not going to stand behind his bowler, and also said that no matter how much one tries, the brotherhood that this team has cannot be broken. Just let's listen in. All right, Saima, I'm going to get your reaction just to give you a bit of a context. When this question was asked to Virat in the press conference, the media manager had said that probably Virat may not want to speak about it, but Virat said, no, I really want to clarify, I want to talk about it. Clearly, it must be good for a player like Shami to get the support of his captain after that incident.
Definitely, because look, not just the captain, look at the way the team has rallied behind him. We've seen pictures of the players with him. So clearly, the fact that the whole team is behind him is a great sign, and that's how it should be. When somebody, it's not just Mohammad Shami. I think you've got to rally behind Rohit Sharma, because Rohit Sharma, who normally scores runs just about every innings, didn't get runs. So even Rahul, the kind of form that he was in, see, they're backing each other is the key. And that's what we have seen over the last 1 week. Having said that, it doesn't, who are the ones who are making these remarks? Do they matter to the team? if they don't matter, if it is say former players or former administrators or something like that, then maybe it can affect you. But if it is somebody who you don't even know, who hides behind anonymity, I don't think anybody actually cares what these people are saying, because if you're faceless and you prefer to be that, nobody should be bothered at all, and the Indian team isn't bothered.
Absolutely, Saima. What you say, Virat Kohli echoed those same thoughts in the press conference as well. They are faceless people and we don't care about what they have to say. One word from you, Pragyan, on this. We heard this from KL Rahul. I remember when they were playing a very tough test series. He said, listen, if you're going to come after one of our players, the entire team is going to attack you. It's not just, on the field. We've seen it now off the field as well. They're walking the talk.
I think this is not new. I think every generation had the team. Even I'm very sure Sunny sir, his team prior to that, and then other teams also, they were all united. And I'm very sure, as a sports person, I can't talk about others. But in cricket, in other sports I've seen, we never discuss these things, and never religion comes in between. That's how it is. That is period. And the other thing is, I was trying to dig deep into it after seeing what is happening. So few of the people who understand how this IT cell and other things work, they even went further to say that you don't even know what is the origin of this troll that is happening.
Yep.
It may be India, it may be some other country, you don't know. So when you don't know where it started and where it's ending, so you better ignore it and just stay away from it. You should use it as a distraction when you are trying to entertain yourself. Other than that, I don't think you should be taking this seriously, because as Sunny Bhai said very rightfully, people who matter, they have not commented on it. And these trolls really should not be bothering you.
Okay, beautifully put there by Pragyan
And
Ojha as well.
Nikhil,
Yes, Sunny Bhai.
Nikhil, in fact, the media, the print and the electronic media should ignore it. By bringing it up, the print and the electronic media, you are actually fanning it. So if you ignore it, then it will perhaps stop. The fact that you all make a big deal about some anonymous person saying something about our top performers who are giving their blood, sweat and tears every day on the field, that is how these people are encouraged to do something like this. You guys ignore it, this will stop.
Right. Fair point, Sunny Bhai. We take that criticism, and there's merit in what you're saying. Sometimes it may happen that there could be certain miscreants who actually do that, and to ensure that some of these miscreants don't do it ever again, the kind of noises that the Indian team is making now, this should serve as a warning to them that, listen, no matter what you try, even if there are a handful of people who are trying to do this, they should stay away from the Indian team. So good noises coming out from the Indian team. I'm just going to now turn our focus onto what is going to happen between India and New Zealand, and plenty of talk as far as the Indian team is concerned. Should Shardul Thakur... All right, that was Virat Kohli also talking about the sixth bowler, and for the benefit of Ross Taylor, because he was talking in Hindi. Ross, I'm just going to sum up what he was talking about. He said that it's not that, teams that play 6 or 7 bowling options, they don't end up losing the game. He spoke about that Pakistan encounter where India went in with 5 bowlers. He said that, listen, we didn't have a big enough total, and if you were, bowling second, you needed some quick wickets, and my best option to get wickets were my 5 premier bowlers. I wouldn't have gone to a 6th bowling option anyway. Had we been bowling first, it would have been a different matter. Because you've been awfully quiet, and I've been, speaking to Sunny Bhai and Pragyan, I'll come to you, Ross, on this one. Have you been surprised that India is just playing 5 bowlers, or do you think there is merit in that argument that 6 or 7 bowlers, something that New Zealand does very often, is something that India should also consider?
The conditions play a big part in that, and having 5 bowlers quite often, the confidence in your part-time, as if someone does go the journey, is a powerful thing as well. But New Zealand only went in with 4 specialist bowlers in the last game, with Jimmy Neesham, there to fill in the 4 overs, and maybe Daryl Mitchell. So, that's an interesting selections that are going to come over the next little while, whether the New Zealand team want to bring in a specialist 5th bowler. Lockie Ferguson's out of the team. Adam Milne's been brought in, whether they want that just point of difference with a bowler who has the potential to bowl 145, 150 kilometres an hour. And, Dubai wicket does, the boundaries are a little bit bigger than Sharjah. So, food for thought for Kane, but, he does back his bowlers a lot. And whatever side he does go in with, he'll pick it on what he thinks best for New Zealand in these conditions.
So anyway, what did you make of what Virat said? There's merit in that argument that, at that stage he could have only used those 5 bowlers, and he also went on to add that if need be, if you're bowling first, I can always chip in with an over or 2.
Well, he's absolutely right. If they had been fielding first, then maybe the absence of a 6th bowler could have come into play if Pakistan had got off to the same start that they eventually did to win the match. But when India was defending the total and not a single wicket had fallen to the regular 5 bowlers, I don't think the 6th bowler could have made much of a difference. The 6th bowler generally is brought in as an option in case one of the bowlers is having a bad day and he's getting hammered. So that's why it's always good for a captain to have the option of a batsman who can bowl a little bit. So that didn't quite happen. So there was no need really for the 6th bowler in that game. Over the next 24 hours, we'll have to see what the combination will be. You could feel the need for a 6th bowler against New Zealand, and that's why what the final combination is going to be interesting.
You're absolutely right. Virat's got his cards very close to his chest, did not reveal what the playing 11 is going to be like. But Pragyan, was it also an indication when he's talking about that, I would have rather used my 5 bowlers based on the condition at the time, an indication that India might yet go with just 5 bowlers in the next encounter, or are we reading too much into it?
I think if you look at the 5 bowlers that they're playing, they're all wicket takers. They're not like they're trying to survive there. Look at Jasprit Bumrah, look at Mohammad Shami, look at Jadeja, look at Bhuvi and then Varun. They're all wicket takers. They have been taking wickets. So I think Virat rightfully is on the right track. I can say that he's backing his 5 top bowlers who can give him wickets at will whenever it is needed. One of a game, yes, there was dew and it wasn't doing much. There's a lot of pressure in the game. It happens. But if you look at the track record, I think these guys have been performing for their domestic side. I'm talking about IPL, and then when you talk about the Indian team, they have performed. I think Varun is new, but he's always been a wicket taker.
As I said, Sahiba there, Virat keeping his cards very close to his chest when he was asked that Shardul Thakur question. 2 things he said. Firstly, he also mentioned that Hardik is completely fit and he's been bowling in the nets. That's the other thing that he said. Now, I wonder whether that net fitness or that, gingerly that he's been running towards the crease while bowling in the nets would also translate into match fitness.
Well, you need some overs under your belt to be able to get into rhythm. So it's not going to be easy in case he is, in fact, required to bowl a couple of overs. But as far as him being fit, that particular word we have been hearing for the last few months, but we haven't actually seen it on the field. So hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to see, how fit he is, fit tomorrow in the game. And that's also if it's in the playing 11.
Before I go to Ross for the final comments, quick word from you, Pragyan, on that. What Sunny talks about, match fitness, very different from fitness in the nets.
Very true. That's why they say whenever you are, that's what, again, I come back to my point, those 6 days. Because if you're playing games, it is totally different. How much ever you practice, that is always second. It comes second. Match fitness, match practice, that intensity is totally different. So I think during the game we'll have to see how well he does and what he does, because every player that practices after their injury or after a break, they look good in the nets, but when you talk about match, it's totally a different ball game.
Okay, final comment to you, Ross. You spoke about what Kane Williamson might do going into this particular encounter, and conditions are going to dictate that. But if you were to select a team, Mill has come back into the mix of things. Would you go in with him as the 3rd pacer? Because last time they went in with 2 all-rounders and 2 pacers. Would this be the right combination for the New Zealand team?
Yeah, I thought Seifert batting so far down the order, and Daryl Mitchell opening the batting was a big surprise.
Yeah.
Daryl Mitchell hadn't opened the batting at his domestic side, and to come into at a world tournament and do it for the first time, as I said, was a big surprise. So whether they feel like putting Seifert back up the top of the order, or whether they feel like they have enough batting, is going to be very intriguing where they come from. Whoever, whatever they do first, they have to do well. But they'll rely heavily on Guptill Williamson up the top. But you know, India's got a powerful batting lineup, so it wouldn't
Right.
surprise me if you know, Kane just wants that extra bit of bowling support just in case one of the all-rounders
Yep.
you know, doesn't go to June.
Okay, that's something that Kane Williamson can consider. Bring in a fast bowler in Adam Mill, and you could have one of the two all-rounders that you've got going out of the playing 11. Completely out of time. Sunil Gavaskar, Pragyan Ojha, Ross Taylor, thanks so much for joining us on Battle of Champions. Here's a reminder to all of you, the big game on Sunday, India versus New Zealand. Through the day, we'll have all these three gentlemen joining us in the build-up to that encounter. So don't forget to tune in then. Thanks so much.